Hello, hello. Is anybody home? Okay, we are live. Let's edit the video. And, okay, I hear myself. That's good. Let's turn that off. Okay. Sail and Cook. Live editing. Aglio Olio and AI music for that. Let's change the thumbnail. That's good. Okay, change. Where's a good thumbnail here? Live. I've got a thumbnail. Save. That's excellent. Okay. Hey, it's Caesar Mocha. Thank you for coming aboard this evening. We're going to try to move the camera so I can see myself. We're going to try to edit another video for an Italian pasta recipe. I can't really say it properly. Aglio e Olio. Aglio. Garlic and olive oil. And type show link to drop link. Okay, show link to drop link. That's perfect. And let's pin this message. And okay, well, we've got company. Caesar, thank you for coming aboard. So let's see what we've got here. Where is that? Okay, so this is the recipe. Let's change the camera around, aim it at the computer. There we are. I'm going to try to move this back just a little bit further so that it gets more of a shot of the screen. Yeah, I think that's okay. And it's basically a pasta recipe that that's made with fresh pasta, and it's supposed to be just olive oil and garlic, which I've had in a couple of restaurants. So I did enjoy it, but I wanted to spice it up a little bit with some sun-dried tomato, because I had some sun-dried tomato. And let me just make sure I can hear myself over here. Where is the go away? Hello? I don't know if I can hear myself. Is anybody home? Okay, yeah, this is good. This is good. Okay, so this is basically the pasta, the garlic. Let's close this so we don't get the sound going wild here. And sun-dried tomatoes, garlic. Where's my olive oil? There's my olive oil. And that olive oil was on sale for like $3 a bottle. That's really, really, really good. Pasta. That pasta is from the St. Lawrence Pizza and Pasta in the St. Lawrence Market. A plug for them. It was wonderful. Wonderful fresh pasta. I've never ever made fresh pasta before, and that turned out really, 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 really good. So, and there's the final the final recipe. There it is, right? I kind of regret adding the parsley. It it didn't add improve the taste. But and the camera can't focus fast enough. Why does the camera not focus? Is it focus? Focus? See, it's not in focus. So I got to figure out what the story is with that thing. Um, anyway, so there's our files, our video, and now let's we'll flip the camera back to me for a minute. Oh, where are we? There we are. Pardon me. So we've got Adobe Premiere project for it, and we've got all of the footage in there. And the challenge is make a nice story out of it. So let's flip this around again. And there we are. If I move this closer here, I get a better shot of the picture. Purely, hey Purely, thank you for coming by. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Love the Purely sounds. I think, yeah, wasn't I listening to you earlier today? I can't remember. Did you do the thing on Muskoka flooding? Ah, okay. That's a small world. It's a small world after all. Okay, so what do we got here? So we've got um, this footage again is in the sequence that it was recorded. Um, and not necessarily in the way that I would cook this if I was cooking it without planning to record it. Because here my objective is to prepare my ingredients um, all at first and then start putting them into my pan. This is a one pan wonder again. And I want to put them into the pan. Oh, what's going on? Is there a missing piece there? But in real life, I would do it slightly differently, right? So part of our challenge in editing is creating a story that fits for how you would make this if you're making it at home. So I started out by cutting up some sun-dried tomato. Now, sun-dried tomato comes in olive oil in a jar here in Canada, or actually dried in a bag. And the bag keeps longer. Once you open it, you can seal the bag again, whereas if you open the one in oil, it starts deteriorating quickly. And I'm always mindful, that even though this was cooked at home, if I'm on a boat, I don't really want a lot of glass jars full of olive oil flopping around every time I hit a wave. So I like this. It's the downside of this is it's hard as a rock. And the last time I did this, I tried cutting it by hand here, and it's almost it's hard as a rock because it's dry, right? So I'm going to take this out because we're not going to actually use that. So let's get rid of this clip. Reveal in project. Let's delete it. It's clip number 72. You're gone. And let's go to my folder of videos, 72, and I'm just going to rename it for now in case I need to bring it back. I won't actually delete it, because if I delete it, then it's harder to deal with. Gio, thank you for coming aboard. Nice to have you drop by. If you're into this, cooking or video editing, subscribe. Drop me a like. Pardon me. Okay, so what have I got? I don't have a bottle of water here. How did I manage to start this without a bottle of water? Okay, so what I'm doing first is we're going to take this, going to put it in here. We're going to put it in a bowl. And partly when I shoot this, it's shot in 4K, but we're editing in HD. So that means I've got a lot of room to zoom in and out. There we are. And what am I doing? I'm putting it in a bowl, and I got to make sure my clip is long enough to cover me talking about putting it in a bowl and adding some water so that it rehydrates. Okay, there we are. Okay, so that's 18 seconds for putting some water in some sun-dried tomatoes. So that's not so bad. I do not want to bore people. Okay, so now we're cutting up some garlic. And normally I like my garlic press, but my understanding is that the traditional Italian way of making this is to cut the garlic up into small pieces, because garlic presses are a modern invention. So we're going to do this the traditional way of cutting up the garlic. No garlic press. How long is this garlic cutting? Garlic cutting is 1:10, so we don't need 1:10 for that. What do we got here? So here, let's see what I'm doing here. I'm taking the garlic out of there. So I'm going to say something like, let's get a couple of cloves of garlic. I think it's 3 cloves of garlic. Okay, we don't need more than, we don't need 5 seconds of that, 5 seconds. And here, cutting. Okay, so now my problem with cutting, of course, is because I'm deathly afraid of cutting my finger and getting my own DNA into the recipe. So I'm very slow. So let's speed this way up. Let's go to 150%. So now we're spending 47 seconds on cutting garlic. Way too much time. So let's, I'm going to do that. Now we're going to cut. Okay, we don't need to see my fingers. And then we're going to come over here and cut, 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 cut. Okay, I like that. That's a few seconds. And then we're going to cut through one more time. So now, how long is our garlic cutting? Let's see if we can move this over a little bit here so that I can see more of my timeline. And my, okay, there's my timeline. Okay, so how long is garlic cutting? It starts at 1:21 seconds, ends at 1:46 seconds. So it's 25 seconds. Yeah, we don't need that. So let's cut that down. So now, so the reason, like in real life, I did the, sun-dried tomato first because I wanted to let it soak for 10-15 minutes before before I use it. So there. Okay, so now what are we doing? Okay, more cutting up garlic. We've got enough cutting up garlic here, so let's get rid of this clip. It's clip number 76. You're gone. 76. There we are. Save this. Okay, now what do we got here? So now we're going to cut that up. Now the parsley, let's zoom around a little bit here. Where is that? Control. I want to move it over. I want to move it up. And I want to zoom out a little bit. Virtually zoom out. Okay, so now we've got 51 seconds of cutting parsley. We don't need 51 seconds of cutting parsley. Let's get rid of the beginning of this. Chop, chop. Okay, so that's good enough. That's good enough, and that brings us down to 18 seconds. That's enough time to talk about garlic, but we're going to leave the garlic, the parsley here, because the parsley actually goes into the pan way later. So here, what we're going to do, let's just get this guy out of the way. And now, we're going to, no, we don't want this either. I'm sorry. After the garlic, we want to, like this cutting up of the tomato can happen much later because it doesn't, we don't actually put the tomato in for quite a while, but we do put in, we've got the garlic, we're going to put in some olive oil, and we're going to start stirring it up. Okay, there, and there's, we're adding our spices. Okay, so what this means is all of this up to here, I'm going to move over here, and and this, okay, so let's zoom this out a bit. Can't remember what brand of olive oil this is, Bertolli, but I don't really want to sell Bertolli olive oil. I just want to say we're going to put some olive oil in, then we're going to put the garlic in, and then we're going to put some spices. Okay, so now how much time do we need for olive oil? There we are. We don't need the beginning. We only want a good action here. And there's our olive oil in the pan. Done. How many seconds? 8 seconds. That's perfect. And then we're going to put our garlic. There's the end of the action of the stirring. Put our garlic. Now I always like putting the garlic, all my ingredients in from the cutting board instead of putting stuff in a dish. A lot of people, a lot of cooking videos do put stuff in a dish. The dishes just adds complexity, and it's one more thing to wash. Now, because I'm doing this for a video, I've got to stage it a little bit. Okay, so here now we're going to add, oh, that's what's going on here. It's almost like I didn't press record early enough. Okay, garlic going in. How much time am I spending swishing garlic around? 9 seconds, that's not so bad. And then I'm going to, okay, so now we're going to put in some red chili flakes. Okay, that's the end of the action. How long is my video now? My video is 14 minutes. That's more than enough. If I get 10 minutes, I'm quite happy. So we don't need to stretch it out. Okay, so now what am I doing? Now I'm letting the garlic brown a little bit, and not burn, brown a little bit. And here I'm putting my pasta in. So we've got a bunch of clips here. I don't remember what I planned. Adding some water. Okay, so this whole long clip isn't doing anything, right? It's not even sizzling it. Let's just get rid of it. May want to bring it back, but for now, let's get rid of it. Number 87. And we'll just get rid of it temporarily by renaming it number 87. Basically, it's just the pasta sitting in the pan that doesn't advance the story in any way. Okay, so here, let's see what we've got. Now, if somehow, what happened here, like there's two very short clips. This one is, what, 1 second? 15 frames, not even a second. And this is a whole second. Oh, what happened to, where's the water? Okay, maybe I made a mistake. There's already water in there, so did I make a mistake? Am I putting the water in here? 87. Okay, that looks like there's water there already. So what did I do? I guess I didn't record the putting in the water. That's dumb. That's dumb. Okay, so hey, Suzanne Morgan, thank you for coming by. Really, really appreciate the support. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. So we're putting in now, and now we're going to put in 2 cups of pasta. Okay, let's get rid of the first 8 frames because there's no sound. And then we're going to put that in, squish it around. Okay, that's plenty. How many seconds is that? Let's go 4 seconds. Let's go 5 seconds. And let's zoom out a little bit. This one we should zoom out a little bit as well. We'll get them all lined up later. Once I've got basically the rough cut organized. Okay, so now we did that. Now, the question is, what happened to my water? No water yet. No water yet. Water. Okay, so because I guess I made a mistake here and I didn't hit record. I can't really go back and change that. So let's delete this one. And his friend in front, the little guy. 85 and 86. Let's get rid of 85 and 86. So since I did not record putting in my first water, 86, I guess I'm stuck with not having water, right? So this one, 89, I forgot to press record. Okay, well, that's okay. So we'll talk about the water. We'll start here. And we'll talk about putting in 4 cups of water, basically twice as much as the pasta. Let's zoom out a little bit. And we want to make sure the pasta is nicely covered. And we're going to let it cook for a while. So that's 18 seconds. That's not too bad. I don't mind that at all. If it's too long, we can take out. There's an empty piece here. I mean, we see the what, 5 seconds before I close the lid. So if it's too long, then I can. Thanks, Susanna. I can make this a bit shorter. Now, then what am I doing? Okay, so now I've gone back and I'm looking at my sun-dried tomato. But when am I putting it in? Okay, I guess I'm putting it in here. Okay, so that's that. And let's bring all this over here. Cutting up my... Okay, so the parsley's already in there. Parsley, 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 parsley. Okay, so my parsley I'm putting in there, so I got to cut the parsley before I can have it ready to be put in. Okay, so now what did we do here? Let's see how much time we want to spend on the movie down to 10 minutes and 50 seconds. How much time I want to spend on preparing sun-dried tomato. Right now we've got starting at 1:57, ending at 3:11, so it's a minute and a half, minute and a bit, minute and a quarter. Okay, so here I like this. How long is this piece? 9 seconds. Okay, we're stirring this. And when we'll talk about how we wanted to rehydrate the sun-dried tomato. And in honesty, I let it go too long. I think I let it go. I can almost check by looking at the time code on the clips, but I think I let it go for about 15-20 minutes. And 10 minutes would have been enough because it was a little bit too mushy. It lost some of its nice texture. Okay, we're putting it on a plate. Zoom out. And we're going to cut it up. "25 seconds. I don't know if I got 20 seconds of talking here. I don't know what that noise was. Okay, so from here, I'm going to make it go faster. 140%. That's good. Okay, so now, what have we got now? Okay, so I don't need more cutting. Looks messy. Let's get rid of it. Clip number 80. You're gone. Clip number 80. Where's 80? 80, 80, 80, 80, 86, 88, 81, 80. Okay, that's just more of the same thing. Let's save this guy. Okay, so now we've cut it. We're cutting it, cutting. And we're going to put it in the pan. Let's zoom out. Makes you a bit of a mess. And so how long is it taking us to put it into the pan? How many seconds? 19 seconds. That's good. 19 seconds is good. Okay. Yeah, if you're just dropping by, say hello. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Say ahoy. What time is it? Okay, so now it's cooking covered. So if the fresh pasta is about 5 minutes to cook, between 4 and 5. Um, so we're stirring it. There we are. 16 seconds. I like that. I've got to think of something to talk about while all this is happening. Okay, so still getting cooked. LinkedIn wants to know if I want to join. Okay, so what's happening here? I don't really, this is getting boring because it's the same thing over and over. But we'll keep it for now. And then, because we're here and we're here, so this is really redundant. But let's go in here. We'll get rid of a few seconds of this. And here I'm checking to see, is my pasta cooked? There it is. Let's zoom out so that we can see the fork coming in to pick up a piece of pasta. There we go. I'm going to taste it. And do I need to show it being closed? Probably not. We need enough time to talk about saying, yeah, it needs another minute. What's going on? The phones are beeping away. Phones are beeping away. Yeah, thanks, Purely. Thanks for your endorsement. Appreciate that. I thought I'd share the edits because they're kind of interesting. I've watched other people edit various things. My technique is different than others. My thought process of why I'm doing stuff is different than other people. But it's a way of sharing. Plus, it makes me think about what I'm doing here. And we'll leave this nice close-up because you can see the shape of the pasta. This is called a radiatore. I did not know there was such a thing. Thanks, Truly, for hanging around. And then I Googled it, and they got a long discussion of the difference between different kinds of squiggly pasta. Okay, so now we're going to cut up our parsley. I've already shortened it, right? Did I make it faster already? Can't remember. Speed and duration. Let's go 130. That's good. How many seconds are we cutting up our parsley? 13 seconds. Okay, that's a good place to stop. And now we're going to put our parsley into the pan. Let's zoom out so I can see what I'm doing here. Mixing it up. There's the end of the action. How many seconds? 19 seconds for putting parsley in. Probably a bit too long. We can cut out some of that. But we'll leave it that way for now. You know, I enjoy the editing. I mean, this is a particular project in itself. but I've edited training videos and press releases and music videos and the whole variety of things. Always with Premiere. I've worked with Premiere since VHS tape, since the beta Sony beta tape, um, where it was captured with capture cards in RGB and in it's composite video. So it was. I've been quite happy with it. I played with Avid back when Avid was a big thing, but could never afford an Avid the Avid licenses or the hardware, and never got into FCP into Apple. Um, got involved. I played with DaVinci Resolve when it came out, partly because I wanted to buy a Blackmagic design video camera. Yeah, that I never did buy it. I moved into the Canon line, and these cooking shows are all shot with an Olympus camera that I bought as a travel camera. Wasn't happy with it because the only 12 megapixels, but great as a 4K a video camera, and the lens is pretty good. The focus is pretty good. Once in a while, it'll lose focus a little bit, but yeah. So Blackmagic Design, played with it, decided that except for the fact that it was free, or if you bought a Blackmagic Design camera, then you got the studio version, the paid version, included in the price of the camera. I almost did that when Blackmagic came out with their version of a Micro Four Thirds camera that they had converted to a video camera, and then decided I didn't. There was no point in that. Okay, so what are we doing here now? We're tasting it, and I read all the internet about which is better and why people hate Premiere and why people hate Adobe, and I think some of the arguments are valid. Okay, so what's this doing here? Stirring some more. Okay, so here, oh, okay, what did I do? I added salt. Now I added too much salt. It was a little bit on the salty side. I think I put in I can't even see what size. That is a teaspoon of salt. And a quarter teaspoon would have been enough. I tasted it, and you'd think I would have figured out how much salt it needed, because, I mean, there's no salt from anything. So it needs a little bit of salt. There's no broth or anything else that's making salt in here, but it's, oh, I put in 2/2 teaspoons. Okay, so I'm going to not show that. I'm going to cut that off right there. Now, some people like their food salty, and if that's the case, then that's really great. But the whole 2 times a half teaspoon of salt was too much. Now it's gotten pretty dry. Do I add some more water here somewhere? No, I guess I was happy with it, because the objective is to have just enough water so that when it's all absorbed by the pasta and evaporated, then there's just enough to make a nice sauce. And if you look in closely here, it was just nicely coating the pasta. I was quite happy with that. I didn't know, because I never used raw pasta, fresh pasta. Hey Flo, thank you for coming by. Yeah, I'm just editing Aglio e Olio, garlic and olive oil, Italian pasta dish with freshly made pasta. I bought it at the market the day before, and never used fresh pasta before, and I was quite impressed with the way it cooked up. It's a bit faster than dry pasta. Um, I only ate half of it the first day, and I saved half of it in the fridge for the second day. Hey, Brad Palmer, thank you for coming by. Appreciate the support. The um, the second day, the pasta was mushier than dry pasta would have been with the same amount of cooking. And um, I guess if you're making enough for 2 or 3 days, then that's something to consider. Um, but so it got a bit mushier. Um, I cheated on the second day and added just a little bit of chicken broth, which reduced the amount of salt, so that it ended up being really good. Yeah, Purely was out. I was watching on his live. He's out flooding in Muskoka. I read about it in the news, but I did not understand or appreciate how much water there actually was. So yeah, it's a challenge. Okay, what's this here? I don't know what this clip is. Let's zoom out and see if we're doing anything. No, we're not doing anything there. So let's get rid of this one. Maybe I thought it was going to be an interesting looking texture. What number is it? It's 60, 97. Or I hit record and I was going to put in the Parmesan cheese and I hit record a little bit too early and then changed my mind. What did I say? 97? Yeah, 97. Where's 97? 96, 97. Changed my mind about what I wanted to do. Okay, so here, now we've got some Parmesan cheese. And when I went to, yeah, Brad, you're up north too, aren't you? So you might end up with the same weather that Purely has up in Muskoka. Um, I'm just hoping that we get a dry weekend. I got to paint the keel of the boat, and it's supposed to go down to like 4 degrees, and it's off the sand. I don't want to do that in the rain. Pardon me. And the paint won't be happy with 4 degrees either. So I need some warm weather. The boat's going in the water in 2 weeks. So let's see if we can get a little bit brighter here. Okay, so what are we doing here? We're putting this. Let's zoom out a little bit. Center it. Okay, there we are. Okay, we don't need that emptiness there. I was going to show, oh yes, I was saying, I was going to buy some freshly ground Parmesan or Romano at the grocery store, and then I decided, nah, that's way too much effort. Or no, the store I went to, local independent grocery, didn't have any. So I ended up with Kraft ground Parmesan, and it was pretty good. Okay, we're mixing. Up to there's the end of the action. And now what are we doing? And we're serving it. There's a good serving. So 2 cups made a very nice serving. And 2 cups was a little bit, about 3/4 of a pound, because I bought a pound of the pasta at the market. And I'm going to go back there and do this again. I'm not going to use the same pasta. I want something slightly different, maybe something like a penny. But it was $10 a pound. Now, $10 a pound versus $3 a pound if you're buying dry pasta at the grocery store. But I did like the taste. I liked the taste. I liked the texture, And I figured, why not? Okay, so now we're sprinkling some. I don't know if I like that. Some garnish. And yeah, see, in Toronto, maybe 8 years ago, we had high water levels, and all the climate people were going on about how the water level was going to rise, and they put rocks on the beach to keep the beach from eroding. But it only happened 1 year, and then we discovered afterwards that it was a result of upstream from Toronto, of Lake Niagara, water level dam control, and Montreal, water level dam control. So they didn't want to. They wanted the boats to float in Montreal, and they wanted enough water coming over the falls to generate electricity. So we ended up with about 2 feet higher water um, that one spring, um, and a lot of effort was made to mediate the beach and put in sandbags and brought in big barges of rocks and moves the boardwalk and stuff like that, and never came back. It was all between Canadian and American. I will blame the American side, but I'm pretty sure it was the Canadian side because Niagara Falls is predominantly Canadian electrical generating, and Montreal is, of course, Canadian boats. So yeah, but so that was a one day only thing. Um, okay, so now here we've got it. I don't know why I always do this thing where I record myself putting the dish on that stupid woven placemat, and I always end up cutting it out. Okay, so there, see, the camera's losing focus. Let's keep this last one. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, so that's nice. We're gonna eat some. My pleasure, purely, my pleasure. Just talking about it makes me plan what I'm doing better than sitting by myself. It's like I got a virtual audience, and it helps. So there's the captain talking about this great recipe, shot on green screen. Let's fix up the lighting. I don't know why it's so dark. I saw something in the new update to Premiere that they're doing the scopes, the luminosity scopes at the same time. Here I've got to do some nonsense with showing the lumetri scopes. And can I find them here? Lumetri scopes. There I am. Okay, that's nice. I like that. So I can see how bright. Where's my 100? So there's 100. Oh, but my colors are blown out, so my luminosity isn't too high, but my colors are a little bit blown out, a little bit oversaturated. So let's go here. I like that. That's a good. Again, we're not doing tube cathode ray tube television where the whites are overblown if the luminosity signal is too high. How do I make this go away? Close the panel. This is being watched on a phone that is impossible to overdrive. We're not using the flyback signal on the television to control our vertical and horizontal, but we're still using the same technology. If it was in Photoshop, I'd check to see how white is that white, and that would be my If it's a 255, 255, 255, I know that it's just on the verge of being blown out. Anyway, so here we got the captain talking, and I recorded this twice, and I'm pretty sure it's because I liked the way I said it the second time.
Aglio e Olio. Aglio e Olio. Aglio e Olio. Aglio e Olio. Italian for.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure I didn't like the first time I said this. And yeah, I've been out of the 14-day weather network, and it's not making me happy. So the thing is, the boat is in a place where the wind is blocked if the wind is from the west, because of some work buildings that are there. And in the middle of the day, the sun is shining directly on the area of the boat that I want to work on. So if as long as the sun's shining, I think I'm going to be okay. So we'll see. I'm going down to check tomorrow again. Okay, let's see what the captain has to say.
Aglio e Olio. Italian for a great tasting yet simple recipe. 2 ingredients: garlic and olive oil, and a few more. This version adds some dried tomatoes. Let's cook.
Okay, I like that.
That sun-dried tomatoes added just a bit of color and a nice fruity taste. Amazing.
I guess I should have said something in Italian, but I can't speak Italian. I guess I could have looked something up. Okay, so now, the thing about the captain is he's going to say this from the back of the boat by virtue of green screen photography. So let's go here and find where our Ultra Key, Adobe's keying program. And where is effects control? And let's go down here. And we know we want to be aggressive because I'm a little bit darker here and lighter there. And I know that I can get away with it. I once had a project where I had a whole crowd of people sitting in front of a green screen, and getting the lighting right was such a pain. If you're doing it yourself, then you can just have yourself to manage. But if you got a whole crowd, then people move and the light changes. Let's see, is that a alpha channel? Pretty well black everywhere. Let's just go here. Is that better? No, that's worse. A little bit of a issue down there. That's not the end of the world. I don't mind that. That will disappear off the frame. And so here, where's our friend thing?
That's sun-dried. Cook.
Okay, so let's cut this off here. And this piece is going to go to the front of the movie because it's our introduction. Just bring that together. And so this is our outro, our wrap-up. Flurries, oh my God. Flurries. Well, I saw on the Weather Network 2 degrees, but I'm not expecting that we're going to see any flurries in Toronto. We're talking about a millimeter of rain, less than a millimeter of rain. So, okay, so part of the reason for this is we're going to do a cross zoom here. I like these cross zooms. So here we are, and the captain's talking. Okay, so now the captain's actually going to end up being on the back of the boat. So the back of the boat, I'm going to steal that from another video because I've been using the same one for the last 3 or 4 videos. And again, once it gets warm out, we'll record some new ones in different angles. But for now, let's go find the last one we used, shrimp salad. There we are. And what we'll do is we're going to bring a whole bunch of things in from this video. And what else do we want here? So I'm clicking on all of the elements that I know I need that are consistent from one video to the other. So I don't have to reinvent them. I'm happy with them the way they are. Let's copy this, close this project, paste it all at the end here. Sometimes that doesn't work, I don't know why. Work today, let's bring this guy over here. And what I brought in here, first of all, here this is the titles, their standard title, so I'm going to bring that to the beginning. And I'm going to bring, this is the back of the boat. So here we got our friend the captain.
And a few more. This version adds sun-dried tomatoes. Let's cook.
Okay, so here we've got let's cook. Let's bring that over here. That shows up right where he says let's cook.
Tomatoes. Let's cook.
There's our sun-dried tomatoes. Yeah, so, I mean, here in Toronto, everything is green. I looked at earlier, I saw in your video, you know, the trees and so on. But in the last week, we've gone from no buds. I guess there's a house with a lot of forsythia bushes down the hill from here. So it got really, really yellow about a week ago. And in the last 2 days, it has gotten very green. And in the winter, we can see Lake Ontario. We can see the beach from the house. We're a couple blocks from the beach. Once it starts getting green, then the lake disappears. So it's sort of an indicator of how close to the water we are. Okay, so now here, the other thing we need the let's move this up one notch. Aglio e Olio pasta. And it's not salad bar, it's one pot. Everything's in one pot. Just keep adding stuff until it's done. So here, I want to start off with the final product. So here's my final product. Let's just copy this. Control C. And we'll stick it over here somewhere temporarily and put it up here. Okay, we don't need the sound. The sound is gone. And yeah, you're a little bit further up north, so it's, you know, in the winter it makes not a lot of difference, in the summer it makes not a lot of difference, but right on the spring and fall, it's noticeable between here and further up. Okay, so here, what's going on here? I thought I'd cut that off. 5 seconds. I only need 5 seconds of an intro. Bring that on top there. Seven seconds. Okay, so here, this one, we're going to bring in here. And we're going to bring our little cross dissolve thing in there. Where is my cross dissolve? Effects, cross dissolve, cross zoom. There's a cross zoom. There's another cross zoom. Did that work? Perfect. Okay. Bring that in there. The titles will bring down to here. Bring us to the beginning of the film. Okay, so now we're 7 minutes 47 seconds long. So that's probably a good length. So let's see what we've got here. Bring that in there. Bring that in there. Now, I want to have a little bit of the cooking as my intro. So here, what's this? I don't like that. Don't like that. Don't like that. I'm going to use this as an intro for the cooking process. Let's just paste it here temporarily. We don't need the sound. And to be honest, I don't really want the salt part. I just wanted the cooking part, the bubbling. And I need about 5 seconds. There's 4 seconds. That's good. Okay, let's bring this to the beginning. So my introduction is the finished product as well as
2 ingredients, garlic and olive oil, and a few more. Garlic and olive oil. This version adds some dried tomatoes.
okay, that's good. Now I'm going to cut this here because this is a little bit too short. And where's my cross zoom there?
This version adds some dried tomatoes. Let's cook.
Okay, so let's move this over. Just a hair.
Tomatoes. Let's cook.
Perfect. That's good. I really like that. So yeah, hopefully it's going to get warm soon enough to basically do painting. On last weekend I opened up the boat, and my problem with the ropes from the guy next door that got wrapped around my wind instruments have been taken care of. So we're in good shape. We're in good shape everywhere. All we need now is, I'm not going to do an oil change now, but to make sure the engine starts. And batteries are okay. One year the batteries dropped down to 7 volts. But this year they've stayed over 12. I charged it 3 times over the winter. Last time I went out it was 12.4 volts. And that's adequate. So it'll get a charge just before it has to go so that we don't have any issue with starting. And then it's a diesel engine, so it can a quick start. Does all kinds of good things. So, okay, so here we are here. And now, okay, so what's going on here? Somehow it screwed that up and, okay, there's our friend the captain.
That's sun-dried tomato added.
Okay, we don't need that piece. We now want this in here. Bring that in. Okay, so there's the ingredients. These are not the ingredients for this recipe. Let's find the ingredients for this recipe. I don't know if I've written them out properly yet. No, no. So I've been working on this for an hour now, the length of this live. And I'm going to spend another probably half hour on the video, and then I want to spend some time on AI music as background music to generate some music that has an Italian flair to it using Google's Gemini. I had bought all kinds of music for various other projects, and I'm bored with all of it. I started playing chord progressions on a keyboard, a portable keyboard, and did that for 20 videos, and heard 5 times that it was boring, too repetitive, and played with Suno, but Suno wants a subscription for commercial use, and Google Gemini doesn't. I mean, the downside of the non-paid version of Gemini music is you only get 30 seconds, but Adobe can stretch it out as long as you want. It's a bit repetitive, so you end up doing a bit of your own assembly of looping. But let's just get this guy over here. That's our subscribe thing. What was I trying to do? Oh yes, I was going to talk about ingredients. Let's see, I think I might have written out the ingredients already. And that's part of the editing process, because after this, I have to, there's my ingredients. So, 4 slices of garlic. I don't know why it says sliced. It says 4 cloves. Where's my own? No. 4 cloves garlic. 1/4 cup of olive oil, 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 1/4 cup of chopped parsley, 1/2 pound of fresh, 1/2 pound, 2 cups fresh pasta, um, 2 cups chopped sun-dried tomato, 1/4 cup, yeah, that's right, 1/4 cup Parmesan cheese, grated. 3 cups of water, salt to taste. Obviously, I put in too much salt, so there's my ingredients. The so on top of, in terms of talking about editing, part of the process, of course, there's a voiceover that talks about the cooking. When I'm actually doing the cooking, I try to be very quiet so that the only sound I get is either the sizzle or the spatula mixing stuff, and because I want to do my discussion of what I'm doing and why after the fact, and I want to. I've tried talking and cooking at the same time, and mainly when I've done cooking out on the boat and recording it, and the talking and cooking is it doesn't work. I screw it up. Let's paste that in. 4 cloves of garlic. So now let's line that properly. Bring you up a little bit. There you are. That's nice. So here, the length of this from here to here has to be long enough for me to say this: 4 cloves garlic, 1/4 cup olive oil. So this is probably about 10, 12, 15 seconds. So this could be longer before we're finished. So I've got to record that. And then I've got to go back and here I've got to think of what am I trying to say about sun-dried tomatoes. Some of it I planned as I planned the recipe, and then some of it will come up as I'm reviewing what I did. For instance, as I told you, I let it soak for a little bit too long. So in my planning, it was going to be a half hour soaking. When I'm talking about it, I'm going to say we're going to use this bagged, dried, sun-dried tomatoes, and we're going to let them rehydrate a bit in some water for 10 to 15 minutes so that they're not too chewy and easy enough to cut. So that's 15 seconds of me talking. So I've got to write that dialogue. I always write it first because it gives me a chance to edit it, and I don't have to then think of what I want to say and say it at the same time. And but yeah, so basically our edit is done here now all the way through, and now we are 6 minutes and 22 seconds. Um, that's shorter than I'd hoped. I wanted it to be close to 8 minutes, but the there's not a lot of ingredients. There's no cutting up of chicken or cutting up of shrimp or any of those things. It's basically just putting stuff in to a pan, and so that can go pretty fast. Um, and again, I don't want people to be bored watching a pot boil. I would be bored watching a pot boil. Okay, so now we've done this. Um, let me continue with getting the oh yeah, Peter, they were talking about daffodils. The we saw the first daffodils. There's a sort of a flower garden, insect, monarch butterfly flower garden on the beach, close to the Balmy Beach Canoe Club, and it's faces south. It's protected from the wind by the building on one side and trees on the other side, and it's had beautiful daffodils for the last almost week now. Um, and I mean, a while ago it got up to 22 degrees Celsius, so it has been warmer. Okay, so what am I trying to do now? We're going to go back to that other video and steal the ingredient slug that goes at the bottom here saying 3 cloves garlic. So let's go find that. And then we'll spend a bit of time on looking for music, creating some music. AI scares me, but it's not going away, and it's yeah, I don't know how the number one thing works. When they invented that, it seemed dumb to me. I've been in chats where I start out as number one, and suddenly I'm number five, and there's other people drop off, then it goes up. It's if we had 400 people watching, then it starts making sense. If we've got 10, 20 people watching, it's not adding any value in my mind. But what do I know? What am I looking for? I want to find the slug that is the recipe, the menu item. What? I didn't put my. I didn't put my ingredients in this clip. Why not? Partly because I did it without um, being live, so I guess I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. And let's go find another one here. The omelette had it for sure. So here there is a slug. Let's copy that. Don't want to reinvent the color and close the project. And let's paste it here. The first one we need is sun-dried tomatoes. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to fix this up so that I can paste other words in there easily. I'm so lazy. If I don't have to reinvent something, I won't. So 2 cloves garlic. Spending a lot of time on the garlic there. Olive oil. But here, this is our, so we get garlic from 22 seconds to 24, so only 40 seconds. That's not so bad. And there's our olive oil. There's our chili flakes. There's our pasta. Let's see, what's my next ingredient? Parsley. How long are these? 3 seconds. It should be a little bit longer. It should be 5 seconds. Parsley, salt to taste, and that's it for my ingredient. Oh, Parmesan. Parmesan. Okay, so where's my ingredients? Parmesan, red teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Yeah, that's right. Probably should be a quarter teaspoon. I might not have been a whole half teaspoon. Let's make it okay. Let's make it a quarter teaspoon. Okay, so now I'm going to first I'm going to drag these things out to make them 5 or 6 seconds. And where's my ingredients? Where's my ingredients? Here's my ingredient list. I'm going to copy and paste 4 cloves garlic. Okay. And now my next ingredient, and let's make it longer, 5 seconds, is quarter cup of olive oil. Now, some people, food bloggers, will say extra virgin olive oil. To me, olive oil is olive oil. Where's my quarter teaspoon red pepper flakes? And I can talk about, you want to put in as much red pepper flakes as you can stand or as you prefer. I had never liked the red pepper flakes, and then I ended up doing a lot of photography for Uber Eats and a lot of Italian restaurants, a lot of Indian restaurants, and started talking to the cooks and stuff like that about what was going into their recipes. And what have I got here? half a pound. Does that fit? Yep. Pasta. Where's my next one here? Okay, what is this? My quarter cup of chopped parsley. I think that's still fair. Might have said to myself that's a bit too much. But it's part of the Italian taste. So what am I doing here? Salt to taste. Oh, 2 cups of water to cover. I forgot my water. Okay, so where's my water? Somewhere here I'm putting water in. I guess it's after the pasta is in the bowl, right? Where's the pasta? Where is the water? Water, 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 water. Yeah, I say I screwed up and didn't record the first cup of water. So we'll just have to talk about it. And this is 2 cups of water. Oh, the Canadian Association of Photography Artists contest has been extended. I got to read that email. So I've got a few interesting things that I want to add to their contest. They liked some of my food photography, so some of this stuff is nice patterns. Control save. Okay, so now we're up to, I think we lost most of the people watching. Let's figure out some music for this. So what we're looking for is music with an Italian flavor. And I made some notes: diatonic accordion, tambourine, mandolin, and the guitar in A, M, E, M, and C chords. So what we're going to do is save this, minimize it, and go find our good friend Google Gemini. And we want to create music. Stay in the know, I'll get email updates. No, I don't want email updates from Google. I get enough crap from Google as it is. So what I want to do here, I need to just find, let's move this over out of the way. So I've got a folder where I save this Gemini music so that I can keep track of where it's come from. And let's create a folder for Italian. New folder, Italian flavor. What chords did I say? A, M, E, M, C. 120 beats per minute. So that's what we're looking for. And let's do a prompt here. Where is this? No, I guess we can spell flavor properly, that would help. Okay, so now let's think of the prompt. So our prompt is going to be Italian folk inspired mandolin, accordion, and guitar in chords A, M, E, M, C, at 120 beats per minute. 2 seconds intro. 2 seconds intro. 2 seconds outro. No vocals. The problem with vocals is if I don't understand Italian, then I don't know what they're saying. And the vocals never match up with the theme of what we're trying to do. And some of the vocals are dumb. I once asked for slide guitar and harmonica, sort of I wanted like a sailor-y, Hawaiian-y thing with vocals about beach sand. And I got 30 seconds, because that's all they give you in this free version. 30 seconds of somebody singing about silicone, because sand is silicone, of course. But it was dumb. It made no sense in relation to what I was looking for, and made no sense in relation to any music that was usable. So let's okay, so it threw in Tarantella. So Tarantella is an Italian fast dance. I like that. So maybe we'll use that in the next iteration of this prompt. So let's see what this looks like. So this is Google thinking. Yeah, I was thinking somewhere computers are heating up. Oh, so it generated something. Let's see what it sounds like. I like that. I like that. I like that. I was going to say it's a bit too fast. 120 beats per minute. Nice outro. I like it. Let's save that one. Where's the download? And we're going to save it where? Gemini music, Italian flavor, and I always like to keep track of where this music comes from, especially if you're dealing with licensed music. You want to know whose it is and who paid for it, and if it's free, why it's free. So this is Gemini, Italian, AMEMC 120. Okay, save that. And now we're going to create ourselves a text document with the same name. And we're going to copy the prompt and save the prompt. There's the text. So that I know how I created this. Now, the thing is, if you run the same prompt again, you won't get the same thing. But I like that. Okay, I like, it's got a bit of Italian here. I have no idea what that says. I'll Google Translate it. Let's Google Translate it. Why don't we Google Translate it while we're here? Google Translate. Well, no, you know, this should be able to translate selection. Here's the Italian folk track you requested with mandolin, accordion, and guitar at 120 beats per minute. Well, let's copy it. Isn't Firefox Amazing. Okay, so we'll save that. And now, as I said, running the same prompt will end up giving us something different. So let's just run the same prompt completely with no change. And what that will give me is it'll probably a very close variation on on this, so that two pieces can be merged together or interchanged and still sound good. Um, I'm going to actually run this 3 times because I think they only get eight tries in a 24-hour period. Um, but right now, this is no idea what this is in Italian. We'll come back to it later. Let's find out what they're saying. Translate. Certainly, I created for you a song inspired by Italian folk characters by a lively stamp of mandolin, accordion, xylophone, professional chords. Done. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay. So I said no vocals. So we got vocals. The challenge is what are they saying? I'd have to find somebody that speaks Italian that will. Now most of it is. I don't dislike it. I'm going to save it anyway. It has some vocals, not what I was hoping for. Let's go up here, and this is Italian, Gemini, Italian, A minor, E minor, C, 120 BPM, some blocks. So we've got some vocals, but I think I can use some of the other bits between, putting in the Parmesan and then once I start stirring it, hey, phone. Focus has gone nuts. What am I doing here? And this is the same. And I've got this. Let's translate this. It says, certainly I created for you a copy of it in English. Save that. Okay, so now we're going to go one more try. There's no point in saying no. I told you no vocals. Google isn't listening. Let's just let it run one more time with exactly the same prompt, and then we're going to change it, and I'm going to basically change it down to 80 beats per minute, so that it's a little bit more ballady as opposed to dancey. Let's see how we're doing here. Focus is a weird thing. This is because it's an empty screen, right? There's nothing there. But that'll give me enough music, and then what we're going to do, we've got another 30 minutes of live, was my plan. We'll see what Adobe does in terms of using this music in the video. Okay, so there was a nice break after the vocals. So this, the vocals, again, I'm not going to use it. I guess I'd like to figure out what what the vocals say. Um, I guess I like to figure out what the vocals say. But this is, I can live with this. So this is Gemini Italian AMEMC some box. And again, we've got now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go V3. What is this? This way it's a third version of the same prompt. V3, V2. Let's rename this one here. V2. V1. 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 Okay, so now we're going to change the prompt very slightly. What do we want to change it to? So first of all, we're going down to 80 beats per minute. So that'll be nice, ballady. 2 seconds intro to the outro. Mandolin and accordion. We'll take out the guitar. Mandolin, accordion. Somewhere I had a note of other instruments that mandolin, tambourine. Yeah, let's put in a tambourine. I asked Google what instruments I might find in Italian folk music. Okay, let's give this a shot. See what that sounds like. See what that sounds like. And actually, this is interesting. This will be the 4th track is generated without coming and saying, sorry, I can't generate your track. And there's no good reason for it. If I ask it to give me Taylor Swift's voice, then it will, hey, Mac Moment, thank you for coming by. Appreciate the visit. Ahoy and aloha. Sci-fi fancy. I have not subscribed to you, but I will do so. I will do so. Thank you for coming by. Once this is over, we'll spend some time watching you. Okay, so let's see what this sounds like. So it wasted 5 seconds. I like it. So it's slower than the other ones. Do I have a good outro? Good outro. What's with the intro? Why is the intro so long? Or was that just because the internet was slow? One second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So it's good. It wasted 5 seconds of life. But it's a nice intro anyway. Let's save it. I like it. And we're going to run 3 like this. No, no, purely I have not. I have not. I'm not sure I can articulate more. And between Gemini and GPT, I'm not sure one is smarter than the other. So since I don't know what I'm looking for in an Italian sounding song, I'm not sure that I can articulate more to tell chat for it to give me a prompt that I can then give Gemini, where Gemini could take that same prompt that I would give chat and use it in itself to generate the music as opposed to generating an intermediate prompt. I'm not sure that I'm 100% right in that, and I've watched. There's a guy on TikTok I follow that um, does a lot of Pinterest, Amazon advertising, and he's using ChatGPT to generate a prompt um, to that then he takes over to somebody else to generate. The only video I've played with it was Sora when Sora was with us, and I did create a few things that I used in some of these videos. Basically, it was a cat cooking. Some of them were cute, some of them weren't. It's worth a try. A Mac moment, yeah. Um, I had just generated three clips at 120 beats per minute, and I wanted to slow it down to be more of a ballady feel. I'm not sure if this recipe is a ballady or a dance, a ballad or a dance. So I'm going to, before we live wrap up this live, put in both different videos and different sounds and try them. Um, yeah, Claude, I have not spent time on Claude. Um, I'm, yeah, I have not. Italian square AMEMC 80 beats per minute. And there's no voice on this one, no box. So we're going to ask it to generate this a second and a third time. So I've got three versions of this sort of the same sound. Um, they're not 100% interchangeable or 100% loopable, but they're close enough for our purposes here. This is not going to end up um, on an iMac screen. Let's just copy this prompt so I can save it. Let's copy the Italian. That's kind of neat that Gemini is talking to me in Italian because I'm asking for Italian music, even though I asked it in English. So it's interesting that it's talking to me in Italian. I had asked for French music for another instance and German music in another instance, and it spoke to me back in those languages. Now I understand a bit of French and a bit of German, so I understand what they're talking about. I have no idea what they're talking about here. Here's your soul track, the bat track, and the 2 seconds intro. Yeah, it was an 8 second intro. Um, 8 seconds of silence, waste of time. But hey, it's free. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this a second time and the third time and see. I should get things that are consistently um, yeah, see, I'm not a musician, so I'm not. I talk music. I played guitar, play piano from time to time, but I'm not. I couldn't carry on any dissertation of music theory of measures and beats and so on. I mean, I know what chords go together and what sounds good to me and what doesn't, and what was the Leonard Cohen song? I heard there was a secret chord that Moses played and pleased the Lord, but that's as close as I can get to music. Um, as I say, I played with Suno and then abandoned it because I couldn't figure out the licensing. Um, yeah, Mac, I'm going to come back to you. I saved your channel. I do wanna watch it. And purely like I listen to people's music. Let's turn stuff on and do work in the background. And if that gives you watch hours, then I'm happy for it. So let's see what the second version of this same prompt is. Okay, speed is the same. Mandolin is the same. I like that. What did we get an accordion in there? Oh yeah, there is an accordion. Okay, I wondered where they got the accordion from. I like that one. So let's save this one. I did played with a lot of slide guitar, countryish sounds, and I ended up with some really things that I really liked. And I strung a few of them together into 5-minute clips that are on my phone that I can play in the car. Now, will they get boring after a while? I guess they would. Okay, Gemini, Italian, how's AM, EMC, 80 BPM, no voice, B12. Keep track of my versions here. Okay, so let's save that. Oh, what am I doing here? Okay, let's create a text so I can save my prompt. It's prompt engineering is a thing. I mean, I'm not 100% convinced. I do stock photography that Adobe sells and Shutterstock sells. And I've done some Adobe AI images, and I spent time thinking about, okay, if I had to create this in real life, how would I describe to myself what I wanted the picture to be? And then how do I describe the camera is doing? Because if I'm doing it with a real camera, I don't have to think about where, if I want the camera at 45 degrees, I just do it and I move it around till I'm happy with the angle. So if you're trying to explain to AI that you want it at a 30-degree angle or a 45-degree angle, or with a 50 millimeter lens versus a 200 millimeter lens, you end up with a fair amount of effort. And I see some people talking about things that they've created with ChatGPTs or Gemini's prompts to generate video clips. And I mean, there's a whole page of a prompt to generate somebody talking while looking out the window at a boat going by. And I'm not 100% convinced that when somebody says, okay, generate me a cinematic clip, it's a clip. I mean, edit it anyway. But I think there is a bit of black magic in there. I think there is a skill in there. And I think that skill will be obsolete next week when something new comes by. Let's translate this. Well, what happened to my translation? Certainly, I created for you a song inspired by the Italian folk of mandolin, accordion, blah, 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 blah. So it's saying the same thing over and over and over and over. Okay, so that's 2. And we're going to generate this one more time. And this is nice because I've gotten 3 that have no vocals. My challenge is getting rid of the vocals, because it's vocals in a popular song evoke an emotion to the viewer. Now, we can't license popular songs, so it's not totally relevant. Vocals for something that's unrelated, like the silicone on the beach, I'm not sure that does any good. So let's see, this is version 3. Oh, got a totally different feel. But I like it, and I like this better than I like the 120 beats per minute. Oh, got a little bit too loud there. Outro is kind of long. 30 seconds. Oh no, the outro is good. It's a good outro. Okay, so this will be version 3. Um, and then that's basically it. I'm going to then put this on the timeline and play with Adobe's stretching to see how we can stretch this out and assemble these pieces. At one point, I had various digital audio workbenches going, abandoned all of them. At one point, I had various loop-based music workstations going, abandoned all of them. The Audacity is my go-to my go-to audio fixer-upper. And then for anything multi-track, I just do it in Adobe Premiere. And it has no intelligence, but it works for what I'm trying to accomplish. Gemini, Italian, same thing. And I always put the chord progression in, so if I'm looking at it later, I can remember what goes with what. 80 beats per minute, no voice. V1, 3. So that's the third version of this same prompt. Hello, where are you? I lost my Gemini music folder. New text document. 3, okay. Let's see what the prompt is here. It was the same prompt. Okay, let's copy the prompt again. Let's copy what they said in Italian. I'm sure it says, thank you for using Gemini. And let's translate it. And it says, thank you for using Gemini. I composed an instrumental piece using mandolin, accordion, blah. And sometimes, sometimes what they say makes no sense. It isn't what they actually did. Especially when they say they didn't have any voice. So that's my my music generation for this this exercise. I don't know what I want to do differently. So let's say goodbye to Gemini, and let's bring back our timeline, and let's play with some music. So now the music that I want to use, I want these 80 beat per minute ones. I think somebody was saying, Macmillan was saying, try something faster. So let's just put one of the first fast ones on the timeline. I'm going to take it off later. There's this fast one. And let's go to the very first. 112. Which one is this? Okay. 13, V11. Let's just, I got to keep track of which goes together with which. Okay, so let's bring one of these in here. So this is the 80 beats per minute. So in the simplest, Adobe will stretch this out from 30 seconds to whatever length. They claim there's some AI in there, but it's basically, it analyzes the the beat, it analyzes the looping, and it then cuts it up and slaps it back together again, and makes sure the cuts, the waveforms work. Um, it's not it's not bad. It's a bit repetitive when I'm trying to take 30 seconds and stretch it out to be 6 minutes. So that's what, 10 times. But if I've played with times where I've had vocals, and it knows where the end of a sentence is. Now, the same vocal, waves on a beach are rolling on the shore, um, over and over and over, it gets really, really, really bad. So, but let's try the fast one and the slow one and see what it looks like. Just when it's stretched out without spending any time to enable remix, to actually think of what I want the sound to be and where I want it to be more or less. And one of its things is the length, because the length is based on how it assembles the pieces. So here, where is a, okay, so there's the start of one segment at 5 minutes and 28 frames, and the length of the segment goes to here, 16, so 15-second segments. That's not bad. That doesn't sound too repetitive. So let's see what it sounds like. This is the fast one. Well, I mean, there's not a big point in this because we're only playing with it, but let's duck this so that it we'll go down 15 decibels. Hey, Lori. Yeah, Lori's Kitchen. Lori's Kitchen, Lori's Garden. I like some of her stuff. I like her recipes, like your recipes. I like some of your recipes. Banana oatmeal pancake with honey. I'm gonna rip that one off. I like that. I've got come up with a couple more breakfast recipes. I did some a year ago, and it's time for more. And I want to build them around pancakes. Okay, so now we've got the ducking. Let's see what this sounds like. Okay, if you're seeing the clipping here, don't worry about that. Later on, we'll master it properly.
2 ingredients: garlic and olive oil, and a few more. This version adds some dried tomatoes. Let's cook.
And that worked out perfectly. Like, that was pure coincidence. The end of that dialogue, and we got the beginning of a beat. Now, then I'd be talking about. Okay, I'm going to go in here very quickly. Just turn down the master sound levels, audio track mixer, and let's go down. Usually I go down 8 dB, and I don't want to blast people's with.
Aglio and Olio. Italian for a great tasting, yet simple recipe. 2 ingredients.
Okay, that's nice. So I like this faster one. I think Mac Moment was saying I go with a faster beat. Let's try this here.
That sun-dried tomato added just a bit of color and a nice fruity taste. Amazing.
That's not bad. And now we got an outro. Okay, so the outro is wrong because I want this seagull. We don't need 8 seconds of seagull, 4 seconds of seagull. Okay, so the seagull is wrong, so we're gonna have to fix that. But I can just regenerate this, but then my that will, okay, so let's mute this, and let's try the slow version. And what we're going to do here, which track is this? Track number 4, A4. Let's bring this down right away so we're not blowing the speakers. Okay, let's see what that sounds like if we stretch it out without spending any time figuring out, maybe restarting and changing speeds from time to time. So let's see what this sounds like. And then we're 2 hours in. Let's just get our seagulls back, because we need these seagulls at the end. Okay, so the seagulls are at the end. So the music has to be, let's bring the tool that does this back, stretching this. That's perfect. So perfect timing with the length of the music and the starting of the, and let's duck this guy as well. We don't need to go down 18 decibels. I usually go 14. Yeah, it is back. It is work, but I enjoy it. It's creative. It's creative. It's something to do. It's something to do. There's no way to know whether it's worth the effort, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, fast or slow? So this is the slow.
Aglio, Italian for a great tasting, yet simple recipe. 2 ingredients, garlic and olive oil, and a few more. This version adds some dried tomatoes. Let's cook.
Again, by coincidence, the voice rolls out nicely at the end there. Let's see what it sounds like at the end. So not super repetitive, but the Premiere figured out where the beats are, so it did string the pieces together in a way that I'm happy with. So that's where we're at. I still don't know whether I like fast or slow better. I didn't dislike the fast. Okay, now let's go slow. I'm going to go with slow. My experience playing with this is when I'm doing North American folky sounds. I've done a bunch of sailors' jigs, maritime jigs. They work well at 120 beats per minute. Country-ish sounds with slide guitars and harmonicas. I've been happy with what I got out of it at 60 beats per minute. I'm going to go with 80 beats per minute here. So I'm going to save this. And I'm going to say thank you for everybody that dropped by to listen to me babbling. And this will be live on today's Wednesday, tomorrow or Friday at the latest. Come back and check it out and leave a comment. Appreciate that. I'm going to Lori, Mac, Purely. I'm going to come back to everybody tomorrow. Sort of in the background while I'm working on other stuff. I've got to work on a whole bunch of stock photos for an Adobe project. And I listen to people in the background, cast an eye from time to time. And it would be my pleasure to add you to the people that I spend time with. I'm going to just Mac. I had saved your link here somewhere. I can't remember where I left it. I'm sure I'm going to find it again. There you are. No, that's not you. I don't know where it went. Mac moment. Let's just copy this channel. And I will come back to that. Let's hit subscribe right now. Why not? And ring the bell. Come back to that more tomorrow. So again, thank everybody for dropping by. Thank you for letting me think out loud. I'm going to close this. There's the boat. Yeah, it'll be another few weeks before we're out there. That's the Center Island Airport, Billy Bishop Airport in the background. That and they're hoping that these white dots here. This is the exclusion zone for the runway, so we don't see the plane coming up here, but the runway ends up. This is the nude beach over here. The runway is over here, somewhere. The planes take off, and this is the exclusion zone. So they talk about the boundaries. Basically, it's to keep planes from hitting the tops of boats. So they're talking about extending it to. This is the. I've lost my finger here. This is the Budweiser stage or whatever it's called this week. So they're talking about extending the runway itself to here, and the exclusion zone will be there. So this is National Yacht Club in here. This at the time this boat was lived at National Yacht Club. It came out here, so that you're going to end up blocking a lot of that water. Now, the good part is that there's a problem with surge and waves. Because this is from the west, so when we get a westerly and some of the waves coming up in there, they do get a lot of surge, and boats have been damaged. When I first joined there, I don't know, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I had boats tied to a wall and huge waves, and every time there'd be a big wind, you'd worry about whether something had got damaged. So there's an advantage to having a wave break, a wind break built in, but it adds 15 minutes of sailing time and motoring time to get in and out of there. So it'll be interesting to see how the whole airport expansion works out. We're at Outer Harbor Marina now, and the glide path for planes coming in is straight overhead. So when I'm doing lives from the boat, we'll hear planes coming overhead. The prop planes, they're not super loud. They're louder when you're sitting here and the plane's revving its engines at the end of the runway, running up the engines. You'll get less of that with jets, and you'll get less noise from a jet landing. More noise with the jet taking off. At this point, most of the takeoffs seem to be towards the west, and the arrivals are from the east, so that's going to be a factor in there as well. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen there. So anyway, I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate the time. Let's press the X. Are you sure you want to stop? I want to stop. Okay. Let's go over here to